Hi, this is Yoga Sila. I'm Rebecca, and this is a restorative class, and I'm going to try something a little different today. I personally have found that I love taking restorative classes, but now that most restorative classes are online, it's hard sometimes to carve out a full hour of my day, and then sometimes I just don't do it. So what I'm going to do for you today is show you the poses, let you hit pause. You can spend however much time you have in the poses, 2 to 3 minutes, and I'll give some recommendations, but if you have a little bit longer and you want to do some longer holds, this way you get to kind of curate the class for yourself. Kind of choose your own adventure. So what you will need today is any kind of chair, dining room chair, ottoman in your living room, sofa, whatever you've got. Just make sure it's nearby, so set up your mat against the sofa if you're using that. And I am using only blankets because I know that some of you don't have bolsters, so I do have 5 yoga blankets, and I would recommend yoga blankets if you've got them. If you don't, any blankets you find will do, beach towels. You're just gonna wanna find something that gives you approximately the same height. So again, this, get up, grab a prop if you need it. I've got a couple of blocks. You might want to get some pillows. If you don't have blocks, just make sure they're pretty firm pillows, or again, even more towels or blankets will work. And then a long strap, 8 feet preferably. If you don't have that long of a strap, you can either hold it, the pose with your hands, or you can skip it altogether. So if you do have a strap, just so we don't have to do it in the middle, take your strap and make a really long loop. So probably about that big, and then set it aside. All right, we'll get started. So I want about 2 standard folded blankets. And if you don't know what that is, watch my blanket folding tutorial, and it will give you some instructions on how to fold blankets properly. But you want to stack your standard folded blankets with the fringe edges alternating, so it'll be a little more supportive. I'm going to use 2. You are welcome to use 3, 4, 5, however many you need. Place your standard fold blankets horizontally on your mat, and then come to kneeling, not horizontally, vertically. Come to kneeling, and you'll place the, basically you've created a standard bolster. You'll place it between your knees a little bit, but you don't have to bring it super far forward. If you are pregnant, you can even have it a little further away to make room for your abdomen. All right, so come onto the support with your belly. And I'm going to start out with my right ear on the bolster. You can let your arms rest beside you and close your eyes. And typically we hold this pose for 3 to 5 minutes. So if you want to set pause and set a timer for 3 to 5 minutes, just make sure that you turn your head in the opposite direction about halfway through. So you may need to set 2 timers. And all you'll do, I do like to stay low when I'm turning, so you just want to move really slowly. Lift your head and turn it to the other side. And settle in for this side as well. And then hit pause again. And then with any of these poses, you want to walk your way out slowly. So you'll recenter your gaze and walk your way back up and make your way to an upright spine. And I will be doing both sides, just so you don't have to worry about, did I do both sides? All right, from here, move your standard bolster to the side. And we are going to come into reclined bound angle. So actually you can leave it where it was. Then take another standard folded blanket and bring it to the top. So you've got like this kind of capital T situation going on. Take a 4th blanket, see why you want at least 5 blankets, and unfold it to this size or longer, but this is usually enough for most of us. You'll open it up and fold it in half once, lengthwise, and then in half again. Then turn so that your sit bones are on the floor, but you want your sacrum just touching your blankets here. And bring the soles of your feet together. Now, because this is restorative yoga, I'm not going to bring my feet as close as I might for Baddha Konasana. I want to keep my feet a little further out, because with restorative yoga, my approach is we want everything to be supported and relaxed. So the further in I bring my feet, the harder it's going to be to relax. So you'll take your skinny blanket that you just folded, place it over the top of your feet, and then tuck the ends in underneath your shins and maybe your thighs. So for me, this is enough support for my hips. I've got a pretty good support under here. I can relax. If this bothers your hips, if your hips are really open, this is where your blocks may come in handy. If you notice, my knees are not going down very far, but if you need more support, you can support them with blocks or pillows on the sides of your legs. So then all we'll do is come down onto your back. You've got a little bit of a back bend here. There are different ways to do this. For this variation, just make sure that your lumbar spine is supported on your blankets. And then this top blanket, you just want it under your head so that your shoulders can come off the edges, and let your arms rest. Now, if this is too much for your back, too much for your shoulders, you can always remove one blanket. And that's the nice thing about using blankets, is you can change the height a fair amount more than you do with a bolster. And I invite you to close your eyes and allow yourself to settle into the posture. And this can be, again, 5-minute hold or 10 to 15 minutes. If you're just starting out in restorative yoga, I would say maybe stay around the 5-minute mark for now. So again, if you want to hit pause at this point, hit pause, take your time in the pose, and then to come out of the pose, you can blink your eyes open first if you like. And some people like to bring the knees up first. I like to come up and then bring the knees up. So you'll take your hands, either help your knees back or just press your hands into the floor and help yourself upright. Unwind the blanket and set it to the side. And I'm going to unfold it because I know we need it for our next pose. So since I already unfolded this blanket, I'm just going to use this one so I don't have to mess up another one of my standard folds. So you'll need 2 blankets for this. So roll this one up. I like to start with the fringe edge just to get it out of the way. And I'm going to roll this up all the way. You may want to adjust the height of your blanket. So just know that this is simply for demonstration. You do not have to use this big of a roll. And then I'm going to take all the other ones off, just set them to the side. And then one more blanket. I'm going to open it up and roll it as well. This one, I'm only going to roll about halfway. And you'll see why in a moment. So this one, place it to the top of your mat. And your other bolster, place it just in front of that. So give yourself some space between them. And I'm actually gonna move this up a little bit more. Okay. So we're coming into supported fish. And this part of the blanket, you want it to be right around your shoulder blades, so on your thoracic spine. So you'll come down, it's not in, your low back is here, it's not on this bolster, and then you'll let your shoulders drape into the space between. Move any props that are in your way. And then this roll is to support your neck. So I know how big I need these blankets to be, but even I like to kind of work this out and find the right spot. So there I am. And you'll notice my knees are bent. And oftentimes we offer to keep the knees bent if this is too much for your low back. But for this particular pose, I really want to straighten the legs out. So if you straighten your legs out and this is too much on your low back, then make these lower, because this is supported fish pose and I want to have the chest open and the front of the body open as well. So if you're not able to open the front of your body here, then this is good, this is fine, but for our purposes today, find a posture where you can straighten your legs out. And you want to be fully supported. So I know that sometimes we can go into bigger back bends and get a big stretch, but I want to be able to relax and just let myself be held in this pose. So if you feel like your shoulders are coming up towards your ears or there's any tension anywhere in your body, I invite you to pause this and adjust your props until they're perfect and you feel fully supported. For this particular pose, recommendation to hold for about 3 to 5 minutes. And as you hold the pose, let your abdomen get soft and really use this to open to a deeper breath. So hit pause when you're ready to begin your hold. To come out of the pose, you'll bend your knees. Bring your feet to the floor. Then roll to one side. Go carefully, especially if you've held it for about 5 minutes. Roll to one side and bring your top hand over to help press you up. So you may find there's a little bit of a cracking sensation in your ribs if you got a lot of opening there. So that's why I want to come out of it slowly. And just set these to the side. You can fold them if you want to go ahead and fold them back up, which I will just for the ease of it. All right, grab your strap. Sorry, I got my notes here. Grab your strap and grab one rolled blanket. So see, you didn't want to fold them both. So you want to keep your rolled blanket. We're going to start on the right side. So you've got your strap. You'll bring it over your body and then under your sacrum. So your low back is here, tailbone, sacrum. You want it right in between your low back and your tailbone. And then come onto your back. Straighten out your left leg and bring the ball of your right foot into the strap. So not on the buckle preferably. Get that situated, and you may need to shorten or lengthen your strap to get it perfect. So we're coming into reclined big toe without the arms. So once you have it perfect, you'll just bring your arms out to the side, and this one's a little more active, but if you notice, like once I've got my leg straight, I can just let my leg fall a little bit and the strap's gonna keep it there. For this, I would say only hold it about 2 minutes. So you'll hold this one for 2 minutes. And when you're ready to switch sides, bend your knee, straighten that leg out, bring the other one in, straighten your leg up towards the ceiling. And again, let your arms come out. And you'll notice you may need to change the length on the strap. You may need to just shift it around on your back. It really just depends on what you're feeling on this side. And hit pause, hold for the same amount of time on both sides. And then to come out of the pose, hold onto the strap, bend your knee, and make your way out. So for the next 2, you'll still need the strap, but you're not gonna loop it around you. So come back onto your back and straighten your left leg out. Find your strap and just loop it around the ball of your right foot. like this. Then I'm gonna bring my blanket into the hip and make sure that I've got a block nearby. So you'll hold onto the strap with your right hand, turn your toes out to the side, and then take your leg out to the side. And for some of us, this little rolled bolster is going to be enough. If you need more, add another blanket, or if you really need a lot more, you can take a block. I just think this is too much to find because I can't quite reach the block, and I don't like the block on my leg either, but if you need a little support, build up the height for yourself. So we'll just stay here for, again, about a minute or two. Make sure you do both sides evenly. And then you'll come back upright and keep the strap on this leg. Take your strap in the other hand, and this is a little more active, so you're not gonna hold it as long, maybe 5 or 10 breaths. Just cross your leg over. So wherever you are, just make sure you do both sides evenly. Come back to center and release that strap. So you may want to sit up to reposition this bolster to the other side. Straighten your right leg out and bring your left knee in, wrap the strap around, hold on to the strap with your left hand. Turn your toes a little to the left and then lower your leg out to the side. So that little bolster is there to catch you and then hang out here. So the challenge is to relax as much as you can in this, and this one is a little more active of a pose, probably more like a yen pose, but it'll just help us get into some of our last few poses with a little more softness. And after you've held that, your amount of time, come back upright, take the strap into your right hand, and then take that crossover. And again, we're just gonna hold it for 10 breaths or so. Do the same as you did on the other side. Come back to center and release the strap. Roll to one side and make your way upright. And you can move your rolled bolster. All right, for this next pose, we will want your chair or your ottoman or your sofa, wherever you are. And because I am a delicate flower, and I have this metal chair, I like to put a blanket on the seat of the chair because it's cold and it makes it nicer on the back of the legs. All right. Then have 2 standard folded blankets nearby. This is optional, and if you do have a bolster and you don't want to fool with these standard folded blankets every time, use your bolster instead. But since I'm using blankets, I'm gonna have them handy. All right, so legs up the chair. This is also known as constructive rest. You'll, as simple as it sounds, put your legs in the chair, backs of your legs in the chair, and come onto your back. Then from there, the bolster can go, onto your abdomen. So this is one way of doing it. It's a really nice, relaxing, weighted, constructive rest pose. The blanket or the bolster on your belly is calming. The reason I'm using 2 is to make it a little more heavy, a little more grounding. So you can hit pause and stay here, or option 2, you're going to set up for this waterfall variation. So you'll place your 2 standard bolsters in front of the chair, and it really depends on the length of your legs as to where, so play around with this. I'm going to bring my sacrum onto the bolster, backs of the legs into the chair, and then lay back. So you've got this cascading effect, kind of like a waterfall. And then hang out here. Now this particular pose, again, 3 to 5 minutes. But you can hold this one up to 15. It's wonderful. This is an inversion, so if you've got uncontrolled high blood pressure or glaucoma, anything where there's pressure in the eyes, you may want to do shorter holds or not do it at all if it increases the pressure. But for most of us, this is going to be a really restorative inversion. So pause the video, set your timer, hang out here as long as you like. And then when you're ready to come out, you want to come out slowly. So what I would suggest doing, and this is for version 1 or 2, especially if you've held it for a while. So what I'm going to do is bend my knees a little more, lift my hips up, and scoot the bolster, the blankets, out from under me and lower my hips back down. Pause here. And then draw your knees in and rock to one side. Help yourself up. All right, so we are done with the chair. You can move it to the side. And last pose before Shavasana, I am going to suggest sitting on a folded blanket. So just the edge of your hips over the folded blanket, because this is restorative. And you may want your chair for this if you've got anything going on your low back or tight hamstrings. You can move your blocks to the side. We didn't use them a lot, but just have them as options for some of the poses. So I'm going to use all 5 of my blankets for this next pose. So you'll take your standard folded blankets and stack them with the fringe edges alternating, like so. So messy looking with all these fringes. For a wide-legged forward fold. And the reason I'm using 4 is, again, I don't want to feel a stretch, I want to feel supported. Honestly, might even want more if you tend to be tight. So if you are a little tighter in your hamstrings, just coming to here might be enough. But if you can get your abdomen and your chest to the bolster, it's the same thing as we did before. And I'm even going to roll this under once, so the little pillow. That's perfect. All right, so you're going to hold this for 3 to 5 minutes. And I don't like putting the forehead on the bolster because I feel like I'm smashing my face by the end of it. So just know if you're turning your head to the side, you'll switch halfway through. And if you have short arms and a lot of height and you need some support for your shoulders, give yourself a little arm rest here. These are a little too high, but that actually feels good on the hands. So set your pause, set your timer, and then when you are ready to come out of the pose, you'll help yourself up slowly. So come up with your inhale, press into your hands, make your way upright, move your blocks to the side first if you're using blocks, and then just take your standard folded blankets and move them over to the side as well. Help your legs back in. And now for Shavasana. Take 2 of your blankets. And on the tutorial video, I started in the foundation fold for this one, just because I find it a little easier sometimes to get the blanket to stay together. I'm going to open it up one more time past the foundation fold. So you'll have a situation that looks like so. And then if you are very, very concerned about everything lining up and you're not going to be able to rest without everything lined up, take the time to do that. All right, so starting with the fringe edge, roll it up. Nice little burrito roll here, taquito roll. can place that about a quarter of the way up your mat, right about where the backs of your knees will be. Take a third blanket, open it to a foundation fold, and place it under your head. So for this, you want to have it thinner. It's really just for padding, not to push your head forward. So if you can stand to not have a big pillow under your head for this, just use the foundation fold. Then take a final blanket and roll it up a little bit. This one's going to go under your ankles. So maybe that's probably enough. That's about the same size. And these are very much like the Goldilocks situation, so you have to kind of feel it out for your body. All right, so you're going to come onto your back and position your ankles over the bolster first, then place the other one behind your knees. And then when you come onto your back, this foundation fold blanket, just bring it up so that your shoulders aren't on it. It's just there to support your head. And let your arms rest beside you. And again, take as much time as you need. You can stay here 3 to 5 minutes, even 10 minutes or longer. And I offer you to give yourself permission to stay here as long as you need. And I thank you for sharing this practice with me today.